Oh, how the tables have turned. It's funny how the UFC lightweight and welterweight divisions have pretty much flip-flopped in just about a year. So about a year ago, I made a video called Why No One Is Fighting at Welterweight, and at the time, the top welterweight contenders weren't fighting, the division was stalled by Leon and Colby fighting for practically no reason, and was easily the most gridlocked division at the time. Fast forward to now, ironically enough, I make a video about the lightweight division being held up by no one knowing who was going to fight the champ Islam next, the contenders all thinking they're in line and refusing to fight each other, and now this division is easily the most gridlocked division in the UFC. On the other hand, would you believe that a division headed by Belal Muhammad is starting to turn out to be the best division in the UFC, is probably the most stacked when it comes to new, young, and exciting contenders, and is jam-packed with different challenges for the champion, with those challenges actually starting to be taken by the champion. So I think name value wise, the stars have always been lightweight and still is. Islam, Charles, Justin, Max, Dustin, Michael Chandler, and now Ilya are all stars of their own, all with names that can get casual fans to tune in. And with a division with Belal on top, that can't be said for welterweight, especially a division with so many young and new names that casuals haven't seen yet. But that's why I'm naming the welterweight division the best, because of the potential for this division to have so many high-level fights, and fights we'll probably see booked soon. So let's break down the welterweight division in the UFC and see why this is in serious contention for being the best division in the entire organization. Starting with the top, we have the motherfucking GOAT, Belal Muhammad. I swear, the more hate I see for Belal, the more I've started to like the guy. Because sure, his fighting style is usually pretty boring. He doesn't have a bright personality. Not really the most clever guy on the mic, but I think the memes I've seen him on have just made me like him even more. But whether you like the guy or not, he's undeniably the best welterweight right now, the champion, and has a mean-ass resume to show for it. He's currently on a 11-fight no-loss streak, the no loss having to be specified due to the no contest from Ipokes in the first Leon fight. Though in this monster win streak, or I guess no loss streak, it includes some big-time welterweight names. Like, of course, former champion Leon Edwards, top contender Gilbert Burns, a shocking knockout win over Sean Brady that looks 1,000 times better after the Leon win Sean just had. He also has dominant wins over welterweight veterans Vicente Luque, Stephen Thompson, and Damian Maia. Say what you want about Belal, but again, that's an insane resume, and he has a solid chance to beat the young, hungry contenders that are coming for him. And let's talk about those young contenders. As we enter a new era of MMA in the UFC, we're seeing a whole lot of new faces, and I think welterweight might have the most young, new names in the top 15. Sean Brady, Shavkat Rakhmonov, JDM, Joaquin Buckley, Ian Garry, Michael Morales, and Carlos Pratz are all new names to the division, are all legitimate contenders, and most importantly, are relatively young by MMA standards. As we know, 33 is that magic age in MMA where prime performance happens, and all the names I just listed are younger than that age, with Ian Garry, Della, Maddalena, and Michael Morales in their 20s. That is, I think, the main draw to this division. Every other division is pretty much dominated by the old heads. Lightweight especially, as great as those names are, they're still jam-packed with names from the last generation. Justin, Dustin, Max, and Charles are all 33 or older, and besides Arman and Ilya, who are both really young at 28, mostly everyone else inside the top 15 are pretty old, well into their 30s. And that pretty much goes for the rest of the divisions, with most names in the top 5 or even in the top 10 being in their mid-30s. And sure, welterweight still technically has the remnants of the last generation, with Leon and Kamaru in the top 5 and Gilbert Burns and Colby in the top 10, but with 7 of the top 15 ranked contenders being under 33, with 3 of them being in their 20s. That's exciting stuff for the future of the welterweight division. And they're all really damn good. Starting with Sean Brady, he had an amazing grappling performance against former champion Leon Edwards, where he shut him down and capitalized on a horrible decision and got the submission. Shit on him all you want for getting knocked out by Belal, but that's literally his only loss in professional MMA. He won against Gilbert Burns, he submitted Kelvin Gastelum, and has a solid win over Michael Chiesa. He's currently the #1 contender for a reason, and he's a guy that looks to finish the fight on the ground, and I think would be stylistically very interesting against the rest of the top 15. And speaking of the rest of the top 15, let's get into probably the scariest guy of the division still, Shavkat Rakhmonov. Sure, he kind of got nullified in his fight with Ian Garry, but I still think Shavkat is dangerous. It's just people forgot because he's been out due to injury on top of that performance with Ian Garry. But don't you forget, before that fight, he was sporting an 18-fight win streak with a 18 finish streak as well. He submitted Stephen Thompson, Jeff Neal, Neil Magny, and can do this to people as well. He's a guy that can legitimately finish anyone, anywhere, and I think should still be favored to beat Belal. Granted, those odds should be way closer now. I think he's a legitimate menace in this division and has the highest chances of dethroning the Belal reign, but he's just got to get healthy first. But even so, he's got time as he's relatively young for UFC standards at the age of 30, and again, he's very, very dangerous. Then the next contender on this list is Jack Della Maddalena. He's only 28 years old and is already fighting for the title in May. Do I think he's going to win? Probably not, but I think he gives Belal a tough fight, especially if he improves his takedown defense. And he really gives everyone in this division a really tough fight. JDM has some of the best hands at welterweight and really has some of the best hands in all of the UFC. He's finished 5 of his 7 wins in the UFC, with his biggest win to date being his KO over veteran Gilbert Burns. Sure, even if he loses against Belal in May, he has a bright future ahead of him. He'll provide us some crazy striking performances against other contenders and is probably going to be heading back to title contention in the near future and is a threat to anyone that's going to be there. Next, we have Joaquin Buckley, and he's looking like a completely different fighter at 170. He was a wishy-washy fighter at 185, either getting sick KOs or getting KO'd himself. He was dangerous at 185, but it didn't look like he was anywhere near the top rankings there, so he moved to welterweight, and since then he has been on a deadly win streak with KO wins over Vicente Luque and Stephen Thompson, and most recently beat the shit out of Colby Covington. He's on a 6-fight win streak in the division. I keep saying this about everybody, but he is a threat to everyone else in the division, and I have to. The thing is about these contenders I've listed so far is that they're all finishers for the most part, which is ironic that Remember the Decision is on top of this division. Anyways, moving on, we got Garry, who, after the aforementioned Shavkat fight, has earned a lot of respect from the community despite, some of the stuff surrounding him. But whatever you think about him as a person, Garry is undeniably a great talent who was previously 15-0 before Shavkat, has wins over MVP, Jeff Neal and Neil Magny. He's a phenomenal striker, extremely clean, and damn, his only loss in MMA so far showed that he could compete with a very deadly grappler in Shavkat, and he even took the guys back, threatening a submission. Additionally, he grappled the hell out of MVP to nullify him to a win. He's been putting in work with Charles Oliveira, and it's showing. He's a very good striker, but is starting to become very well-rounded, and at the age of 27, he's such a great young addition to the rankings. That inevitable rematch between him and Shavkat in the future is going to be crazy, and if you haven't recognized his talent now, you should. Okay, so the next new and young name in the rankings is Michael Morales, someone I think is going to be on more radars very, very soon. He's a 25-year-old dangerous striker that just knocked out Neil Magny and is a very fun fighter to look out for. Me personally, I don't think he's going to be as much of a contender or a threat to the top like the other guys I mentioned, but he should provide us some crazy fights and may potentially hurt top guys if he gets those matchups. And finally, we have a more well-known rising star in Carlos Pratz, a guy that just brutally knocked out Neil Magny as well. I assume a lot of fans know of Pratz. He's a fellow fighting nerd and not only crushes the competition, but he also crushes cigarettes and alcohol. He has some nasty power, like nasty power. Like mentioned, he assassinated Neil Magny, but also destroyed the previously uncrackable Li Jingliang, and actually has knocked out all 5 of his opponents in the UFC, with 4 of those coming in 2024 alone. He is fucking scary for this division, and I do see him coming up the rankings really, really soon. I think the scariest part about this new generation of welterweights is that they're not only winning against the old guard of the division, but they're murking them. Leon Edwards got taken out. Gilbert Burns got taken out. Colby Covington got taken out. Jeff Neal got taken out. And Neil Magny got brutally taken out twice. These guys are not just coming onto the scene, they're exploding their way through, and the matchups between them will be violence guaranteed. This is the best division in the UFC and will hold some of the best matchups in the future. I'm pretty sure of that. So anyways, what do you guys think about the current welterweight division? I know the lightweight division has more names and more star power and more like casual fans tuning in, but I think the welterweight division, with how stacked it is with finishers and violent guys, is going to easily be the best division to look out for in the future. And with Belal Muhammad at the top and everybody gunning for him, I'm really interested to see who's going to crack Belal. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I would like to hear your guys' thoughts about some of the stuff I said in this video. And again, thanks for the support. Peace.